Hello, and welcome to a tantalizing episode of the Drywall Podcast. I'm your host, Nick Harmon. With us today, we have Murry Jordan of Optimum Drywall in the house. Although Murray's only a year into his own business and finishing, he's carved out quite a unique niche in a market where his skill is more than needed. You went straight for like a tomahawk like blade, like a big like level five blade.
Yeah, I got a 4-foot tape tech finishing knife. I think that was my first tool, because I just thought the idea was like, I can just do a whole sheet in one swipe with a 4-foot. But I rarely ever used it because I didn't understand back then. There's like different layers you have to put on first before you even
that 4-foot, like you graduate to that. It's like you were jumping right to the end, buddy. Yeah, you would pull that 4-foot out if you're skimming like a you do a level 5 in a commercial building and you got to put that final coat on the butt joint. That's when you pull out that 4-footer. We dive into a myriad of different topics, ranging from learning the automatic tools to the benefits of using a sauna, an ice bath, the importance of family values, and we talk about Can-Am tools and his inventiveness as a pioneer in the industry. Murray's a fantastic guy, and I'm sure you are going to enjoy getting to know this up-and-coming mogul in the drywall industry. For now, Murry Jordan, Optimum Drywall, on the 27th episode of the Drywall Podcast. Let's get into it. There he is.
Okay.
There's that beautiful mug. That's what I want to see. You're in Baltimore.
Yes, Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore, Maryland. We have Murry Jordan on the Drywall Podcast this morning. Owner of Optimum Drywall, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
1 year. 1 year in.
1 year.
And what else? We're just gonna go from here, dude. Know, we talked a little bit. You got the Optimum Drywall shirt on. Trying to get comfortable. I got a new desk set up over here.
Oh yeah, I know how that go. It actually just came from a job, skim job. Just use some of the tape tech knives, and them things are awesome. I might sound a little new to the game, I might sound like somebody who just saw a flat box or just saw a tape tech finishing knife or just saw automatic taper, but it is what it is at this point.
Yeah, it's all, it's all good because the tool guys want to hear about your experience from a new perspective, that it's all good feedback, not to mention, I don't know who's listening to this thing. We have 2,000 downloads. There's going to be a lot of guys maybe that are a year in or that are considering starting to use the tools, and they also want to hear your experience. Or there's guys that are working for another company, and maybe they want to branch out on their own, and they want to hear how Murry did it. Okay. So it's all relative. There's no bad information,
Right.
I didn't know how to podcast before I started a podcast.
Yeah.
You just gotta jump out there and do it.
Yeah, that's what I did. Pretty much just jumped out. But yeah, whenever you're ready, I can definitely kind of bring my story from the past to the present time. So
yeah. We'll go through the time. No, we'll go through the timeline. Murry Jordan. We'll start out, and sometimes I'll start out on weird. Maybe I'll jump around a little bit on the timeline just to keep it interesting. My job is to keep it interesting. Your job is just to answer the questions, tell your story.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe crack a joke.
Okay. Yeah.
Funny.
What's wrong? Yeah.
I do generally start out. I ask if you've heard the podcast. So did you reach out to me? I can't remember.
You reached out to me.
I reached out to you.
Mm-hmm. And I think it was from Drywall Magazine. I'm not sure.
Drywall Magazine Facebook page, correct?
Yep, Facebook page, Drywall Magazine. Yeah.
And then
awesome
you do
page,
It's a cool page. Yeah. We had David Lee on the Drywall podcast, the dude that sort of made the page.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a character, man. That's an interesting podcast.
Yeah, I actually listened to that podcast, and Dave Lee, man, is awesome, man. He's an awesome guy. He reached out to me. He actually video chatted me and showed me how to work on butt joints when I asked a question about that. So that was huge, man.
That's so
Total
cool.
respect for him. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's the only person on the podcast to take a leak during the interview.
Okay.
And maybe ever in any podcast ever in history. I don't know. I haven't done the research on that yet, but he's a great guy, really funny, really funny character.
Yeah, very, very helpful.
Have you listened to any of the podcasts?
Well, the only two, because like I said, after meeting you, I got so excited about there even being a Drywall podcast. I mean, that's just so exciting about, something to listen to, guys who understand what it takes and just like understand the mindset that you need to do this. It's tough. I mean, I'm growing and learning, but it's definitely a mental aspect to this. But I did listen to Daily and Drywall Shorty. To answer the question. Yeah. I'm gonna listen to all of them eventually, but Drywall Shorty, I listened to actually yesterday.
Now there's a girl that knows her shit. If you are inclined, just start going and checking out her YouTube stuff. And I got this tool. I want to learn how to do Drywall Shorty box tool. And 50 videos will come up. I mean, and they're very well done. And she'll run you through it, how to do it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. I see her a lot of times on Instagram, but it's just so much information. You can go in so many different directions to learn this trade. It's just a lot. It's like a kid in a candy shop, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I'm loving it though. I'm loving every second of it.
Yeah. So how did you get your start? Are you first generation drywaller?
Yeah, I would say so. Definitely first generation. I came from the property management world, maintenance tech, and I was a supervisor for a few years. So I kind of did the quick patches and everything, the quick paint jobs, basic electrical, plumbing, carpentry, and everything like that.
Okay.
But how I kind of got started was, I don't know if Thumbtack is, familiar over the country, but it's like an app, and Angie's Leads. People reach out through the app to get to you to do work. But anyway, a guy from Thumbtack called me. I was at work. He said, look, there are tons of drywall jobs out here. Just sign up for $300. So I said, okay, cool. $300. That's a drywall job. So I said, I signed up for it. And this was right when COVID hit, right? Like the February, March, right when COVID hit.
Okay.
And I was actually booming. I mean, I was starting to get so much work. It was just crazy. And it just got to a point where my full-time job started getting in the way of what I was doing on the side.
Right.
And that's kind of how I knew it was kind of time to move on. But to be honest, before I stepped out, before I even opened my business, I was only using Easy Sand 5 and mesh tape. That was it. No paper tape, no outside corner bead. I just patched everything with Easy Sand 5 and mesh tape. So that's
what you knew.
Idea. Yeah, that's all I knew. But it got the job done. It definitely got the job done.
And so, so you jumped out and you got a job through Thumbtack. Work's getting a little bit busier. So did you decide to jump on with a drywall company? Did you work for You were like, I'm going to focus on drywall. I don't really know too much about drywall except for you patch a patch with Easy Sand 5 and mesh tape.
That's it.
I'm gonna be a drywaller.
Yep.
Am I wrong?
No, you're correct. You're correct.
All right, sweet. I love it, man. Yeah, you're like how hard can it be?
Yeah, I mean, it's just so much demand in Maryland and in Baltimore City. Drywall repair, that's kind of what I entered into, not so much as a drywall finishing and install. So it was plaster repair, which I just cut out put drywall in, skimmed it. I mean, I didn't know anything about +3, blue top, blue lid, how
Yeah.
easier that is to sand. I was just sanding 5 minutes the whole time. But
How long
that's all I
ago
knew.
how long ago was that? Just out of curiosity.
I started July of 2021 last year.
And then
And
how old are you, Murray, if you don't mind my asking?
I'm 40 years old.
40. Okay.
Yeah.
40 years young, buddy.
Yeah. 40 years young. It's 40 snuck up on me. I don't know what happened. I was
You better be
33.
careful.
Yeah, next thing you
30s,
know, I'm
30s, 30s just go away.
40.
40s are great though. I've had a lot of success and like just a ton of cool shit. You're starting to get some wisdom when you get into your 40s. 30s, it's like you realize you don't know everything. And then your 40s is kind of like, I'm gonna start learning some shit,
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
It's kind of like if you went from 20 to 40, then that means I'm gonna hit 60 in no time. So I'm like, well, I really need to start investing in long-term things and setting myself up for retirement.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah. And there wasn't an inkling to go like work for a drywall company and maybe learn the trade before jumping in on your own? But you were focused on like the patches. You were like, it was, I can do patches all day long and they pay well.
Yeah. It was so much demand. Like, I mean, I was making $250, $350 a pop in like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
2 hours. So in my mind, well, what I was getting for a paycheck every 2 weeks, I'm like, man, I can do this in a week. So the demand was there. I mean, I was still getting 5 stars. I mean, my ratings were still up. I only got 1 4-star even today. I have like all 5-star ratings. And
what's that rating? What's that rating on?
It's right now it's on Thumbtack.
Okay.
It's from my previous customers. And people are finding me on different apps. People are like finding me online. Hey, I found you online. They sending me emails. I'm just starting to really grow and expand in Baltimore. And it's kind of just me. I got a couple of guys, but so that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah. And so so now like you've got the bug a little bit. You're like, okay, there's money in this. I can do patches. I would assume maybe you're throwing your hat in the ring. So the patches are going to get bigger. Now all of a sudden, like maybe somebody's calling you. They're like, hey, I got a garage. It's hung. I need that shit finished. Like, are you tackling? You're tackling that stuff now, aren't you?
Yeah, no, garage. Well, I kind of evolved to where I am now. Like I said, I wasn't really a finisher or installer, so I kind of started installing a sheet or two here and there, and just started, finishing, I guess, a couple of sheets. Every job grew. I kind of took on more and more as time went on. But it was just I can do garages. I had a lot of learning curves, so I didn't have anybody to really show me the right way. So my learning experience was more so customers calling me back. Like, look, you need to, not every call, but certain ones. Look, you need to come back. This particular spot doesn't look right. So I just kind of learned from that.
Hate those calls.
But I definitely learned from those experiences. And each job I do, I just keep in mind of all my mistakes. And then the jobs that I love is that the jobs from contractors. The contractor will call me or get in contact with me, and they would kind of pick my work apart. And that's really how I learned too, doing work for contractors in their own homes. They want a patch done, or they want this, that, and the third. And it just evolved. It's just learning from my customers' mistakes, really.
Yeah, what were you doing? I mean, Jesus, you're on the planet for like 38 years. What the hell are you doing before that? You're just doing property management stuff?
Yeah, that was I started in my early 20s because they had the free apartment back then. Like if you're a maintenance guy, you get a free place to live. So I kind of started with that.
Yeah, that
Yep.
East Coast shit's it's a little different over there than it is over here in like
E-
rural,
yeah.
widespread desert Albuquerque. Like this is a different
Oh
land. It's like a
wow.
different planet over here, dude.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's Yeah. It's That's kind of how I got started in property management with the free apartment. Just kind of stayed with it. Became a supervisor, service manager. Um, but I'm just thankful, man, for that call I got from Thumbtack because it's just drywall is so demanding. It's crazy. It is
That is
like
crazy. That is crazy.
it
And
is
you're not
crazy,
the
man.
only. There's old school dudes that did drywall for years, and then we're like,
Okay.
I'm just gonna do patches. Like
Yeah.
my guy Jack gets calls for patches all the time, and
Oh,
he
those are
like
easy money. Yeah. I
yeah
love
yeah
patches.
he's like got like a $500 minimum. He'll go crush it. Like
Oh yeah. It's
one
like an
foot,
hour,
2 foot, like whatever.
$500. I probably charge 250. But it's competitive too. When somebody reach out to me, they also reach out to like a couple other people.
Yeah, you have
So I
to be
think it's
aware. You
separate.
have to be aware of pricing. He ain't gonna get them all, but he's
Yeah.
also he makes good wage working for me. Doing the stuff that I do, the Fresco Harmony stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotta try
Yeah,
that too. Fresco. And that's
yeah,
the colored compound.
yeah.
I don't mean to change the topic.
I'll send you a sample pack.
Okay.
We'll get you
Okay.
rolling over there.
Yeah.
You want to make the big
Yeah.
boy money? You want to make the big boy money? Start putting color in that shit, dude.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. Okay.
Um,
Just did a texture ceiling yesterday, matter of fact, with a paint roller. Wow.
okay.
Yes. People who look at me like once they come and talk to me, they always have this strange look on their face, like, how are you out here? How are you so busy? And you only been doing this for a year. And they always have this like look of like amazement on their face. Like when I walk up to Home Depot, I do have a 2024 Transit for a truck, but
Okay.
I'm just looking around like, man, I'm really keeping up with these guys, the contractors. I'm going in, buying materials, doing jobs too.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I'm really out here with them as well. But people just have this look on their face like, how am I doing it? But I think it's customer reviews, it's just integrity, it's
Hey,
being
whoa, Murray! It's because you're busting your ass, dude.
oh well, yeah, true. Yeah,
Let's give
yeah.
credit where credit's due. Dude, you know why people
Okay.
don't have that shit is because they're lazy.
Right. That's true. That's
I
true.
mean, you
Yeah.
get off your ass, you make the phone calls, you get leads like
Hmm.
Thumbtack, and then you were
Hmm.
smart enough to realize there was a need for
Right.
patching, and you were like, I'm going to go in this direction, and
Yeah.
you had the courage too. Don't sell the courage to do that. A lot of people
Right.
don't. A
Right.
lot of people don't have that, man. A lot of people are content to stay in a job that they don't like,
Right.
with people that are treating them like shit, just
Hmm.
because they're used to that nut. When
Yeah.
you're hustling your own money, you got to get out there because it's nobody's responsibility but yours.
Yeah. I'm learning that. It was right before I quit. Just a fun fact. My wife was due the next month that I planned on quitting. I was going to lose all my medical insurance from the company. And I didn't realize
Yeah.
the
Plus,
company.
people don't realize sometimes you got a wife. You got a wife and a
Yeah.
family. Like you got to
Kids.
take that
Yeah.
into consideration too. She's like, bullshit. You ain't quitting your job.
she
Are you nuts?
she yeah, she gave me that speech, but I just felt like it was time. The universe was telling me different people. I just felt it,
All right.
and it's just like I gotta go for it. I'm a
Yeah.
very adventurous person.
Yeah.
I go to the sauna every Sunday, and I find that the sauna and drywall is kind of the same because you have to be like strong mentally. You can't give up. It's like I'll be in the sauna,
Yeah.
I'll be ready to fall out, ready to die. It's just something about that that's just is intensifying. I love it. And it's
Yeah.
just the same thing with drywall. You got a whole room you got to well, now I'm doing finishing, but it's
Yeah.
like you
Yeah.
can't give up. You
Hey,
can't give
don't
up.
jump the gun. We'll
Okay.
get there. We'll
Okay.
get there, buddy. We'll
Okay.
get there. Don't go there too soon.
Okay.
I do ice baths. Now, don't get me wrong. I like a good sauna
Okay.
session, but you've maybe heard of the phenomenon of ice baths.
I heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's this dude Wim Hof. It's like crazy, like Yugoslavian or something. Like this like dude who started to do all this research about ice baths. So my buddy, he gets a freezer and like fills it up full of water, and like cranks it down to like 32 degrees. And
wow.
We went in yesterday. It was 39, and I did that shit for 4 minutes.
Straight, just submerged. Wow.
Like this. Like when I first started out, you get in and you like,
yeah, okay,
because your like fight or flight response kicks in. Like I'm gonna die. Like you think you're gonna die, and so
I kind
you
of
breathe,
like
and then you settle down. You settle your shoulders in, and you just breathe. And then after about a minute, everything starts to calm down. And I even do it with my hands in. Well, I'll dunk, and then I come up. And then I go to work, and it's by about minute 45, you sort of settle in. It still hurts, but like you're in there, and there's a lot of really strange benefits. Athletes, professional athletes who do ice baths, vagus nerve, sleep, stomach fat, like dopamine. There's a dopamine release. So then you get out, after 4 minutes, you get out and you're like shaking, and your body's like working to warm up, and you're fighting that calm. You're fighting to stay calm, and man, they're intense. They're really intense.
Like
yeah, there's probably you'd probably like that if you like the intensity of the heat, also, because that's another form, heat exposure. But an ice bath is a fascinating thing. I'll bet you. And you could it could be as simple as throwing like 10 bags of ice in your bathtub, filling it up and getting in there. But what Wim Hof, what he recommends is a shower. Here's a good starting point. Like you at the end of your shower, you take a nice hot shower, it feels good. Start turning it over to cold, like really slow until it's all the way cold. And your water up there in Baltimore will be cold. 30 seconds. Go 30 seconds, and then keep doing that, and it'll start shifting your idea about hot and cold. It's hard to do. It's very hard, but that's a good starting point. I didn't do that. I just started taking, but I do that now. Every shower I take, I turn it over to cold, and I'll do 2 or 3 minutes, rinse all the soap off, like rinse my hair, like fully cold.
I'm gonna try that. Yeah,
it's hard.
I usually jump back like but okay.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to our primitive state. We're used to wearing clothes. We're used to being indoors. We're used to having the heat on. So ultimately, as a species, we become weak.
Okay. Yeah, kind of draw. Yeah, because when I take I don't mean to talk about sauna real, but
Yeah, it's okay.
When I come out the sauna, man, I just feel like. It's a feeling of what life should be. I feel like you're born again, like fresh life, if that makes sense. I just feel awesome. But I'm going to try that ice bath. Yeah.
Yeah. My wife does hot Pilates. Like they have hot yoga, but she does hot Pilates. Like she did a course last night. I did it once, man. It's hard. Like I didn't feel drawn to do it again. I was like, okay, one and done.
I might try that.
But similar though, if you do hot yoga or hot Pilates, when you're in there and you're moving and you have the heat, it takes it to another level.
Okay. I might try that too.
And not to mention it, your flexibility. It helps with your flexibility, your strength, and all that's good for drywall because we're using those muscles. Yeah. And I've talked to a couple people, but drywallers tend to be hard on the body and drinking a lot, whatever, not taking care of the body. You get older, shit starts to wear out just like a car, man. You got to change the oil. You got to you got to keep it up.
Do something. Them sheets heavy going up and down steps.
Yeah. So you're getting into sheets now. Now we're talking about sheets. That ain't no patch. If you're lugging a sheet somewhere, you're doing more than a patch.
Yep. Yeah, sheets is like I say, each job kind of grew, and I kind of took on as I learned, I just took on bigger jobs, and it's still so much to learn. I'm also a tool addict. I mean, there's always a tool I
Okay.
gotta get. I'm to the point
Yeah.
now I don't even tell my wife now because she's
No.
because I used to pace the room, go back and forth, and she knows it's a tool I'm trying to convince
Yeah.
myself to
Yeah.
get. But
Stay
it's
away from
so
Amazon. Yeah, you don't want it coming
uh,
to the house. Ship it to the client's address.
yeah, she don't even care anymore. She just look at the package and just go back
You
to
know
her
what?
phone or
As long
something.
as there's food on the table and there's a
Yeah,
roof
right,
over it, like
right.
if we got insurance for the baby,
That's it.
just go do whatever you need to do.
That's all it is, man.
And
It's
you
just
have a beautiful daughter. How old is she?
she's 4. Her name's
Okay.
Azariel, and I have a 1-year-old son, Mason, who's a
Uh,
mama's boy.
double
Yeah,
trouble. Yeah,
yeah.
you're
He's
in it. You're in
I'm
deep right
all in,
now.
man. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm all
yeah.
in.
Uh,
Go hard or go home at this point.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, for a few years I think until they get, I only have one, so I didn't do the 2 kid, but like until they get like out of diapers,
Mhm.
that's a tough few years there.
Yeah, because I could do more work and make more money, but I try to knock out the job, come home to the kids, help the
Yeah.
wife, give her a break, mental break.
Yeah.
They running her crazy,
Yeah,
but
that's a
it's cool.
fantastic aspect of running your own business as well, is that you get to sort of regulate that time,
Hmm.
how much you're making and the time. Like
Right,
people don't realize like we're not going to get that time back. That
right.
your child is only going to be one once.
One. Yep, that's
And
it.
then you turn around like my kid, well, I'm taking him to soccer. He's 7 now. He's a little baller.
Wow.
Like
Okay.
different world, you
Yeah,
know.
and they grow so fast, man. I tell you,
Yeah,
it's
one's
it's
gone.
crazy.
One's gone.
Yeah.
We're not going to have any more, but what a
Mhm.
gift. What a gift that is.
Yeah, I love
Not
it.
to. And you're 42, you sort of had kids later in life like me.
Mhm.
Um
Right.
I feel like that's like a good way to do it because you get to enjoy those years a little more. You
Right.
appreciate, like there's the
Yeah.
appreciation. Yeah.
And you know what to set them up for to succeed more so than having them early. Not saying, I mean, I can't speak on having early because I didn't, but I think you would prepare them more in life having them later in your 30s or 40s versus early 20s. Just my personal opinion.
Yeah, yeah. So this transition from like fiber tape and 5 minute to paper tape, would you say, I mean, what was your first tool purchase? That might be a good place to start. Did you get like a banjo?
Um, didn't get a banjo. Let me see. I had what I actually brought was a
Did you get
four
one of those
foot
tape roll
finishing knife.
holders?
Nope, didn't have that. I
You like
just did
went
it by hand.
straight for like a tomahawk like blade, like a big like level
I
five
w-
blade.
yeah, I got a 4 foot tape tech finishing knife. I think that was my
Love
first tool,
it. Love
which I
it.
because I just thought the idea was like, oh, I can just do a whole sheet in one swipe with a 4 foot. But I rarely ever used it because I
Yeah.
didn't understand back then there's like different layers you have to put on
Yeah.
first before you even
Yeah,
get to that.
that 4 foot, like you graduate to that. It's like you were jumping right to the end, buddy. Yeah, you would pull that
Yeah,
4 foot out if you're skimming like you doing level 5 in a commercial building, and you got to
right.
put that final coat on the butt joint. That's when you pull out that 4 footer.
Yeah, I just kind of brought tools gradually. I think that was the first tool I got outside of a pan and like a 10-inch and a 12-inch knife I had. But I'm just
Yeah,
sitting here thinking like I never used corner bead. Like I didn't even understand
yeah.
I just tried to do it by hand. I tried to create
Oh,
an
sure.
outside corner by
Yeah.
hand.
Why not?
Yeah.
Did you ever try to like corner the tape onto a corner and like float out like just a piece of tape? I've
with
seen
the
that.
with the mesh tape or the paper tape.
I would probably
Oh
use paper tape, but if you don't know, you don't know.
yeah, I use mesh tape for inside corners.
Yeah.
It was just looking back, I just laugh now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
the stuff I
Okay,
used
so
to
now
use.
wait, are you using mesh tape still? Because they say you can use a mesh tape if you're using Quickset. It's okay. We don't really use it. Fiberfuse is pretty cool stuff,
I
but
use that. Yeah, I use that fiber
okay,
fuse.
That's great for patches too. It keeps your patch nice and tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to pre-fill or prepare like paper tape.
Yeah.
But I don't use mesh tape for like corners anymore. I think I'm doing it the correct way now. I use paper tape. I got the Can-Am tools that I just brought, actually, the 2.5, 3-inch, and a 3.5 with the wheels on it, which makes a difference. But yeah, I use
2.5 and 3-inch what?
Inside corner flushers.
Corner flusher. Okay. Those are pretty badass. Now, see, out of the gate, dude, I was like union apprentice. They were using all those tools around me, and I was like, I don't know, so you just instantly like, oh, that makes sense. Like when you're around super pros, you just like soak it up. It's like, oh, they're using bazookas and this kind of shit. You go to do a patch, it's like, that's no big deal. It was cool learning that way, but the union can be, it can be a trap. But so maybe that's your first tool is the flusher?
No, I recently got that. Tool wise, man.
Yeah, let's go down the timeline a little bit. I mean, you went from like fiber tape to paper tape, obviously.
Yeah, I came out with mesh tape, started to understand the purpose of paper tape. Like I said, nobody really taught me. Really started to understand it's good for inside corners. It creates the crease, even for butt joints. Give you that angle. Yeah. So before I quit, I already had a ton of tools. I had a 2-level scaffold set from Metal Tech. I had a dry.
What kind of scaffold set? Like a smaller Baker or the larger 6-foot Perry? Okay.
Yep, smaller bit, 2.5 by 6 feet. I had 2-level scaffold set, a dry ease, air scrubber, containment poles. I kind of already had like maintenance tools, the typical drills and everything that.
And are you using bucket mud over there? So, and then I assume you probably by that time you were starting to use Ready Mix.
Right. Yeah. I was still kind of using the 5, but I kind of understood or learned the hard way that blue top sand's a lot easier. The +3. It sounds crazy to somebody who's been doing it for years, but it makes so much difference in the world. The top, you're finishing work with that. Because trying to sand easy 5 is it's tough. It's like sanding rock.
Yeah.
Sanding rock, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big one. So like layman, if I'm talking to a layman or a contractor, first of all, I love showing them like the California patch. They're always like blown away, or the butterfly patch. Like they're always like, dude, you could like cut the sheetrock like this, throw it in an outlet, and that may just make it go away. They love that. They love that patch.
I'm not sure. Is that a blowout patch? Is that the name of it?
It's like when you cut the back of the sheetrock. And then and then use the paper around.
Oh yeah, blowout patch. Yeah, I don't.
Okay, yeah. You don't do that?
No, I just a piece of 1x piece of wood, screw in a square, mesh tape.
What if it's like a little patch though? What if it's like little teeny, like an outlet?
Mesh tape, like 2 pieces of mesh tape. I use the extra strength. Mix up some Easy 5 hot water. Hit it with 3 coats.
All right.
Like 10 minutes.
All right. look up here's your homework assignment. Look up California patch, or you probably know what I'm talking about, where they cut the back of the sheetrock. I think
it's a blow patch. Yeah,
that's a badass patch, man. I don't know.
It takes too long. Yeah, it just takes
there you go.
And
that gets back to like, I feel like that's the only fucking way to do it. And like, in drywall, it's like, no, man, that takes too long. There's another way. Here's how I do it. And this is what's cool about the Drywall Podcast. You get to come on and hear about different, like your journey. It's not the same as me. I was just like, what the hell is that? I saw a dude using a crimper like to put on metal corner bead, and I was like, that's cool. Okay. Whoa. And these dudes walking stilts, and I'm like, whoa, it's like, I am blowing, and they're just like, get out of my way, apprentice, like kicking me and go clean the tools, bitch. like that
Oh
kind of stuff.
man, that's
I
crazy,
was young.
man.
I was like 20, 21, 22. I was
Okay.
young, prima donna. I was like, I thought I knew everything.
You're right. Okay. Wow. I wish I had that,
It was cool. It was cool. And I liked the mud though. So I was drawn to it. Like I wanted to learn. Like I want to learn that
Okay.
shit. That's cool. Those dudes running the box. Like that looks fun. I could do that
Yeah.
all day. I wouldn't walk stilts and spot screws. Like that looked fun. You
Right.
know.
Right. Right. Yeah, flat boxes, I never knew. I always thought when I looked at drywall work, now understanding it was the flat box, I thought everybody did it by hand. I'm like, man, that's some sharp work. That's some sharp, clean lines.
No,
And I
you only
always
get
tried
that
to,
clean. You only get that clean with a box. Hand finishers, they'll be like, I could do it that clean with a hand finish, but like
yeah,
you only get like that freaking perfectness with like
the
the
box.
box.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I never knew. I never knew until honestly, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was all by hand, but hey, I'm evolving. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm definitely I'm very innovative. I feel like I'm the new age of this, man. Just kind of coming up. But this
How
will be my
so?
first year.
How so?
Um, like I say, every job I do, I always learn from it. For example, I have the DeWalt big back knobs. I have the 8, 10, 12, 16. So what I did
Is
was
that the offset knife?
not the offset knob, which I'll probably get next. It's just a regular taping knife, but the blades are wider. It's a lot
Oh.
wider. Yep. So
Like
what
like a skimming blade, but a little one?
no, it's a taping knife.
Okay.
They're taping knobs, and like I say, the blade is just a lot taller.
Okay.
It's
All
called big
right.
backs. Yep, and you
They're
can kind
called
of
a
put
big
more.
back knife. I'll have to check that out.
Yep, I'll
Yeah.
send you a link. Yep. And
Hey,
so I started.
Murray, I don't know it all. I'm gonna let you in
Okay.
on a little secret.
Okay.
I like to learn shit too, man. I pretend like I know it all, but like
Okay.
any good drywaller would, but I don't.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yep. So what I did is I realized that if you round the ends or the edges, you take off the sharp point of the knobs,
Yeah.
like you won't get those lines. So what I did, I just went to Harbor Freight. I got a grinder and I just rounded off the knobs. Some of them have double round edges, and some of them have like one edge sharp for the corners,
Yeah.
and another one is rounded. And I mean, that makes a lot of difference when you skim it.
Yeah.
Maybe some guys have a trick. Hey, that's cool, but I'm kind of on my own journey, man.
No,
So what
I
I
know. Do
wanted,
you know that Advanced makes a round edge knife?
yep, that's what I got. It's called Radius.
Yeah.
Yep, it's called. I actually brought that, but to be honest, not putting them down. Those blades are flimsy. I
Okay.
actually brought them, and they worked pretty good to me at that time, but I didn't realize that the blades were like flimsy. That's kind of how I got the idea, and I'm like, well, damn,
Uh
how can I
Fuck it.
do
I'll get
this?
the knife. I'll get the knife that I want. And I'll round that shit off.
Yeah.
I've rounded a couple off on the back of my truck. Put down the back
Okay.
of my truck, and I take like a quarter or
Okay.
a something bigger. For me, it's pool trowels because I'm doing the heavy duty skimming shit. So I use pool
Okay.
trowel. But Level 5 sent me some of their early on. They sent me some of their thin metal trowels, and they were square.
Okay.
And I rounded
Okay.
them bitches off. I was like, well, I want to try your knife, but I don't like this. I don't use square knives because they cut in when I'm skimming.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so I automatically rounded them off.
Okay.
But that's just a like personal preference. But kudos to you, man,
Yeah, man.
for like haven't that you're right. That is like sort of progressive, I think, in this space.
They don't sell those types of knives on the market, man. So it's like just really creating what you need to create to get the results you want.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to take a flat box, man. I want to innovate it some kind of way, make it better.
Yeah.
It's
You got to listen to the Columbia Tools interview
I
that I
started
did.
to, yes,
Yeah.
the most recent one. I started
Yeah.
to, my baby was crying. I actually started to listen
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those guys' dad, like he took the tools and they just started innovating. Like, so,
Okay.
just like anything, man, and they're still innovating in the space, making cool. The stilts are still innovating. So like,
Mhm.
if you're out there and you got an idea for a tool, or a new idea or a way that you're like, why aren't they doing it this way? Like follow that instinct, man, because a lot of these tool guys I'm finding too, and meeting them through the podcast, are very open. They're very cool. And they're very open to suggestions and like ideas. And the Predator. So in the most recent interview, the Predator, we talk about the guy that makes that tool, that made it up, just this dude out of Idaho, carbon fiber Predator bazooka. Right. Like they didn't make that. They just went and met this dude and were like, hey, we like your idea. We'll sell it, And the dude was like, okay. And now they have this badass tool because some dude in Idaho was like just tooling in his shop, making a cool, and he was gonna sell, like he was gonna have people pay him to outfit their existing bazooka with carbon material.
Oh, wow.
And so Columbia went to him and they made a deal. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I hope you got a little profit from that.
Yeah, of course,
That's cool. Okay.
So don't discredit yourself. I think as drywallers, sometimes maybe we think we're like lower on the totem pole, but it's like it's not true.
I was thinking about that the other week. Like, I know they just look at drywallers as like, I don't know. I feel like we're like really the icing on the cake. It takes a lot to hang drywall and finish it and get it paint ready. Like it's really a skill, a mindset. You have to be some sort of an artist and have an eye for things. It's intense. Like it's a really intense job.
Yeah, and then once you cross that bridge, once you become a drywall finisher, you realize like, well, it took a lot to make that patch look good. And then you got some asshole like contractor coming in being like, oh, I could do that if I had more time. I'd just rather pay you.
Right.
It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal to this $50,000 remodel bathroom. It's not a big deal. Just have anybody come in and as a drywall, it's like they're paying $100,000 for this remodel. And like, I'll come in and do fresco harmony and I'll look at the drywaller's work and I'll be like, dude, that guy doesn't know. That guy doesn't know what he's doing. Like, and then other areas that we're not covering, like, look like shit, and the homeowner won't even see it. It's like, looks fine to me.
But it's crazy. What I have, Nick, man. I don't want to take the credit on this, but another innovative idea. I understood that, if you shine light on the side of the wall, it shows everything on the drywall. That's cool. I had a Husky light for the longest time. It was like 10,000 lumens. I'm like, okay, this is cool, man. It really shows everything. So I realized if you skim to the light, it'll be less the sand, it'll be a lot smoother. So what I did was I went online, researched. But right now I have is a Jeep truck light. It's a 52-inch 78,000 lumen ball light that is only like 2.5 inches tall. Okay. And it's like, because it's only 2.5 inches tall, it shows everything, man. It shows everything. If you skim to that and sand to that, I did a house a few weeks ago downtown. I did the whole first level. I shined the lights on the wall, and I used the Mark V. I don't know if I'm talking about that yet, but the grid, I sprayed the compound on with the ball light, and it came out baby smooth, man, baby smooth. But yeah, it's a 78,000 lumen 52-inch ball light. I have two of those, and I also have a 24-inch. I think that's 56,000 lumen ball light that I use for small areas. But you need.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Ball light.
Bar light. BAR.
Oh, a bar light.
It's basically a Jeep light. Yeah, it's a Jeep light with high lumens.
Yeah, they put on like the top of the Jeep or whatever. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. So if you but only thing with that is 12 volts. So you need a converter. So
you got like a generator on your job running the light.
Yeah, it's 800 watts. The 52-inch is 800 watts, but the converter is a max of it's 780 watts, but the converter is 800 watts max. Which you get on Amazon.
this might sound stupid, but what about the spy sponge? Like you've seen the spy sponge.
Spy sponge is
they got like a little sponge. They got a little sponge. You put the LEDs.
Oh yeah. Nah, this is like the ball. Like, man, it shines the entire length of the wall.
This puts that little spy sponge to shame, doesn't it?
Yes, it do. Sad to say.
How do you set it? How do you like set it up on your wall? Do you have like a special mount?
Containment pole.
Okay.
You just use a containment pole. You lock it in close to the wall. And you just I take the little
See, we got to be careful, buddy, because I tell you what, next week, like fucking owner of Can-Am or whatever's gonna be watching this, and you're gonna see it.
Yeah, that's fine. Yep.
They'll even call it the Murry pole.
Yeah, that's cool. Yep.
Hey, you won't see a dime, dude. You won't see a dime. You'll have to buy them. Tell them you want a free one because you came up with that shit. You heard it here first. The Drywall Podcast. If you're out there and you're thinking you can steal that idea, fuck you, dude. That's Murray's idea.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. But yeah, it's just like I say, ceilings and all, man. You can shine it. I've done a couple jobs with that light, and when I have those real picky customers, I bring that bad boy out. But what happens is it really shows the condition of their ceiling. So when they pointing out this one little spot, I turn that bad boy on. It shuts them up.
Yep, and you turn it to the other side, the shit they've been living in with for 20 years, and be like, "Look at your other walls, dude."
The price went up now.
Don't be nitpicking my shit.
They don't understand, Nick.
Yeah, that's a conversation with Fresco Harmony too, because we'll do like I do specialty finish, so it's like it ain't. This is what it looks like, man. Like like it's it's like. It's like kind of like that's drywall mud, man, just colored,
So is it two different? Is it two different?
This one, this wall here, we're doing in a bathroom. That's like a sanded finish.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I gotta try that.
Looks like Venetian plaster. It's just color and joint compound, all purpose. So yeah, I'll send you all kinds of information on that and stuff. I mean, you can listen to the other podcasts. I talk about Fresco Harmony a lot. There's 65 videos on YouTube. Look up Fresco Harmony YouTube. You'll see me doing all kinds of crazy shit with colored mud. But like one of the challenges to a colored final finish surface with the drywall guy is because we're used to the painter coming in. And then, our shit's all our shit has to look as smooth. And then the painter comes in, he does his thing. Well, with the Fresco Harmony, like you'll get them nitpicking. They'll come to, is it going to look like that? And it's like, dude, you've been living with ugly ass skip trowel, popcorn ceiling. I'll cover up a popcorn ceiling, make it look like Venetian plaster. And they're like, what about that little dime thing up here in the corner? I'm like, dude, your whole ceiling was popcorn like 5 minutes ago. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, where's my money?
That's huge too in Baltimore. Texture removal. That's another service, man. That's a huge service over there.
Well, see, here's a boat you're missing, Murray, because like we blow over it. Like Fresco Harmony goes over existing painted texture. So instead of going over, so now all of a sudden either you're sanding that shit off, and then you have to reskim and retexture or paint, sanding dust everywhere, all over the place. So now you're just blowing over it with 2 coats of Fresco Harmony and 1 coat of sealer. Boom.
No sanding.
No sanding. That looks like Venetian plaster. It's and then you charge double. And
I'm gonna check this out when
and then they get badass walls, especially with popcorn. So we'll do a preliminary coat over popcorn ceilings, and then we'll do our 3-coat system of Fresco Harmony, and we do what's called encapsulate, because a lot of that old popcorn has asbestos. You don't want to be messing with that shit. Just do a layer of all-purpose over the top of that, and I use a pool trowels and a hawk, and I skim that shit out, man. You don't have to skim it out flat. You just leave like sort of a imperfect smooth finish, and then you just go over that. These walls aren't smooth. They're textured, but it's very subtle texture. If you shine a light down this, you'll see all kinds of shit. But to a layman, it looks flat.
I'm okay. I'm a definitely.
It's a new, it's a new
Quick.
concept.
Yeah.
It's a new concept of like doing walls. You make more money, you move fast, and the
Yeah.
client gets these beautiful, awesome looking walls. That's it.
That's a game changer. I'm
Yeah.
sitting here thinking about how many ceilings I sanded, skimmed, sanded
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
skimmed.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
need to
go
print it
on.
out.
So there's a couple videos where, and I can I'll text you like a link, but it's like, there's one where I'm covering popcorn,
Okay.
several, probably over 5 where I'm covering popcorn, wood paneling, wallpaper, like
Oh, yeah.
all kinds of crazy stuff. Like we've really pushed it to the limit. I mean,
Okay.
sometimes we've gotten unlucky, but
Mhm.
I mean, I've like got a 95% success rate, 100% going over painted texture, like just floating over the top, 100% success rate. Never had an issue. Never primed.
Man.
I've never primed it.
Oh, wow. Just joint compound straight over it.
Fucking all-purpose joint compound.
Wow. You
Colored.
could make a million. You could be a millionaire over here with that.
Yeah. Well, you could be a millionaire,
Whoa,
buddy.
I'm about to be a millionaire. Yeah, we can split the profits on that. That's a game
No,
changer.
I'm looking to just sell the product. So I sell
Okay.
I sell the color pack, and then I sell the sealer. That's it.
Okay.
And then I talk to people about how to do it and how to make money. I tell, you would call me and be like, "Hey, I've got this job. How much material do I need? Is this a good job to do?" I mean, the first
Yeah.
step is to make samples. Like there's a whole process. It's like first you got
Okay.
to make samples, you got to get the product. But I mean, the original idea of the podcast was kind of like me talking to dudes who are already doing fresco harmony, and
Okay.
we'd be bullshitting just like this. And I'd be like, this would be a
Yeah.
cool podcast because we're talking about skimming blades and weird shit that like other people
Right.
don't talk about.
Right.
But
I love it. I love it.
drywall guys dig that shit. And then you're coming
Yeah.
up with something like innovative, like this, like the Murray light.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good name. It's a good name.
Yeah, it's a game changer, man. It changes everything. Because I think, 'cause I like that, the Murray light.
The
'Cause
Murray
on
light.
Facebook, yeah, I like that. I usually go by Merman sometimes. Not Merman, but I'll use that for like a nickname sometimes.
Yeah, like what's his name? Blue Steel.
That's
Yeah, his
cool.
look. They're making fun of the male models, and and he says, I got a son that's a mermaid, and he says, "Merman, Pop, I'm a
Oh,
merman."
okay.
You know.
Okay.
Oh boy, and it's always when I'm on the podcast, I try to reference a movie or an actor, and I can never remember their name.
Right.
But
Right. As soon as it's
whatever.
over, everything comes to your mind. Yeah, I'm the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
way, man.
yeah. This has been a fantastic conversation, though. I mean,
Thank you, man.
really cool stuff, and it doesn't matter where you came from and, sort of where you're at.
Right.
You're in the drywall world. So Murray now he runs Optimum Drywall. What's your biggest job?
Well, like I say, I wasn't taking on finishing jobs too much. I was doing it. There's so much demand for the repair, but there was a guy, Dave from Elpatech, who reached out to me actually in December, and I didn't see the message until a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And he was basically saying like, "Look, Murray, we have some attachments that can go with your Mark V, your Graco Mark V." So I was like, okay, cool. So I called him. He was explaining to me, and it's basically a continuous flow system.
Tell me what the Mark V is really quick.
Oh, the Graco
our
Mark
listeners.
V. Okay, yep, the Graco Mark V. Well, the Mark V by Graco. It basically pumps joint compound to the trigger, and you can now with the Elpatech, you can basically utilize that to apply compound to inside corners to flats with the inside corner applicator. Just by squeezing the trigger, the Mark V will basically pump it to wherever you need it to go.
Continuous flow, I think continuous flow technology.
Yep, continuous flow. If you make a big enough batch of it and just put it in there, man, you can go a long time with that. And so he was telling me about it, and he was telling me the prices, and I said, you know what? I think if I get this, it will put me on a whole new level of, versus pumping it by hand. I never had a pump before either. And this was just like about 2 months ago.
Okay.
ironically, I got a job. A guy just installed a 4-level house downtown, and he reached out and he said, "I just need you to finish it. Take all the time you need. You can still work in between the other jobs." So I said before I wouldn't have done it because I that's just too much by hand. But I said, you know what, man? I just got these pieces of equipment. I'll do it. And I charged him $10,000 for it.
Okay.
And so the first level, I started on the top floor.
You're probably about half the price of your the next lowest bid.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm usually lower. I don't find out to the end, but it's all good.
You know what? It's okay too when you're starting out, man. You learn, and then there can be good money, especially if you have the right tools. You go in, somebody needs a house finished. It's like, okay, you know what I mean? Like you're spending more time on one site. You're making better money. You're not traveling around chasing your tail as much.
Yeah. Yep. So I started on the top floor, first time using the flat boxes, and I actually used them like a compound tube. I didn't know you had to move fast with them. So I basically was doing the flats and butts, went behind them with a knife. Took a little longer, asked the question on Drywall Magazine. I mean, I got so much feedback on the flat boxes, how to adjust the blades that I never even knew. I didn't know you could adjust the blades to feather the edges. Like I said, Dave Lee reached out to me, showed me some things.
That's what I'm saying too. Those Drywall Shorty videos, they're pretty good where she's running the box. There's a lot of good how-to videos, but she's, also Phil with PRC taping. He's got a bunch of great videos on running flat box.
PRCT. Okay, I'm gonna check them out. That's cool. But yeah, I'm definitely I learned a lot. I learned a lot, man. But like I say, Drywall Baltimore, man, you ask one question, you get so much feedback. It's just no way you can't know drywall.
Did you get people being like, "What the hell are you doing in the trade? Get out of here, rookie!" Like that kind of shit?
I got a lot of BS, man, from some people. I laugh at it. It's funny to me. The answers that they gave is like hilarious. It doesn't bother me. I pretty much look for the commonality in the answers. So basically, for me, once I ask a question, if it's 5 to 10 people that say the same thing, that's what I'll go with. Yeah. Like if I ask a particular brand, if everybody's saying Tape Tech, I'm gonna just go with Tape Tech when it's time for me to buy that. But it's I don't pay them guys any mind, man. It's funny. I laugh at them.
Yeah, like Mr. Rogers, man. It's like look for the helpers, man. Look for the helpers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Mud Man, he reached out. There's a couple of guys that actually reached out like personally and gave me some good tips.
That's cool. Shout out to David Lee and Mudman Dan and both those guys have been on the podcast. Super cool dudes. They both. Mudman Dan he's our conversation's really great. He's
cool I'm gonna check that out.
He almost died of COVID.
Oh yeah.
He
man. Yeah, because I caught COVID twice and I hit the sauna. The second day was good. Yep.
Oh, really? So we started. I mean, there was part of the catalyst for our ice baths was immunity, because it's immunity building the ice bath thing too. So we, that was at the front end of the COVID. We started doing ice baths. Like preventative maintenance.
Yeah, I would go. Like, of course, my wife caught it. We both would catch it. So I say I'm going to the sauna. I went. Did what I had to do, went the next day. I was good. She continued to get sick. She just got worse both times.
It affects people differently, I mean, it's just it was a weird virus, and I mean, my cousin died. He's 40, he's younger than me, 2 kids.
Man, sorry to hear that, man.
Gone, up in Spokane, Washington. Yeah. So I mean, but there was all spectrums. We weren't real close. We knew each other. We were friends on Facebook, but it's just sad, and it was kind of a real deal there. So, but hopefully, it sort of, I think it maybe shifted people's like awareness around maybe health, being healthier, and exercise, and things like that.
Hopefully, at this point.
Murry Jordan, Optimum Drywall. If somebody wants to get a hold of Murry, you're in the Baltimore area. I've got 443-717-5317.
That's
And
me.
what's your email?
Optimum Drywall 21 at gmail.com.
Optimum Drywall 21 at gmail.com. You can reach out to him directly. Do you have a website?
I don't. I do have an Instagram, and that is Optimum Drywall _ LLC. I post all my latest work on there.
Okay, be sure to follow Murry on Instagram as well. I think I'm following you. I can't remember, but if I'm not, I will, buddy.
Probably. Okay. I appreciate that.
Facebook as well. You're probably just Murry Jordan, I think, on Facebook.
Yeah. It's an Optimum Drywall, but I mostly use my personal thing,
Okay.
Way.
And then TikTok. Do any TikTok?
I don't. I'm gonna start. I should.
It's weird. It's weird. It's like it's kind of a weird world, but it's cool. It's cool. I've got the now on mine. I combine all of them. Like Nick, I have some funny videos, and then like Nick, Fresco Harmony, and the Drywall Podcast. It's all mishmash into one page. I'm like, whatever. I'll just make funny videos, and it's kind of a venue where you can play around with funny and weird videos, and music and stuff like that. It's pretty good. It's a good platform for video editing.
That's what I need. Yeah. Okay.
It's a nice segue for you to learn about video editing and get into that, because then from there you could share to your Instagram page. You can edit your video and then share over to Instagram from there. So I use iMovie to edit most of my stuff. Okay, and then the question I ask everybody that comes onto the show, it's not a question, it's more of a comment. If you could tell the drywall community a pearl of wisdom that is special from the heart of Murry Jordan, what would it be?
I would say just never give up. Don't stop. Be strong mentally and physically. Just stay with it and just, reach for the mountaintop. I can't quit. I just can't. It's just not in me.
I like it. Yeah. I like it. Good stuff,
I'm a drywaller, man. Yeah, I'm a drywaller, man. It's on. It's official.
It's on. And I like it. I like it. The drywall industry just kind of sort of it's almost like you didn't pick it. It's almost like it picked you. Like
you're right. It did.
That's my takeaway from the story. It's like came in and it just showed you what you needed to be doing. Like it's cool.
I love it. It's fun. Everybody says, I can't do it, but I love it. It's fun. It's tons of equipment. I'm ready to rock, man.
Well, I mean, and the Drywall Podcast has grown. We got 2,000 downloads. I'm on the radar of some heavy hitters. We've got some amazing shows coming up. Oh, and I'm going to announce too that I will be, before this show airs, I'm going up to do a demo at CSR in Canada at Toronto.
I would start doing that. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I would just start doing Fresco Harmony. Just
it's fun. It's fun too, and you can go in. You could do a wall in your own house, but I'll tell you how to do it. I'll sort of guide you along. First, here's the first step. I'm going to send you a sample pack, and then make a fucking sample. Like that's easy. If you get to that step, I'll tell you the next thing to do, and then you do that. Do a wall in your house. It's like now you got a place you can show people. And then you go, that builder whose house you're skimming out, you show him the sample and you be like, hey, I'm going to do a free wall in this house because I'm trying out this product and it's going to look badass. Here's a color chart. Tell me which color you want. Here's what it looks like. Here's a sample. And he'll be like, what? It's going to look like that? You're like, yeah, it's going to look like this. And he'll be like, go for it. And you can be like, if you don't like it, you can paint over it.
Right. Okay.
And that's the... And then once you get to that point, you're hooked.
Yeah, I'm with it, man. I love the idea. I love it. I'm hooked already.
Murry Jordan, thank you so much for coming on the Drywall Podcast today, man. This has been awesome, like super awesome.
Man,
pleasure.
Thank you, man. I'm honored, man. I feel like I'm amongst the gods of drywall, man.
Yeah. You're just another prima donna amongst prima donnas in this industry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Everybody's a superstar, man.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, man.
All right, buddy. Well, you have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much for your time. And I'll be, if I need information from you, I'll gather information. But we'll talk soon, man. We'll be in touch.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I appreciate it. Thanks, Nick. You have a good day, man.
All right, you too, buddy. Talk soon.
Okay. All right.
Special thanks to Murry Jordan for being on the Drywall Podcast today. I appreciate your time. We appreciate your time. And we wish you the best in all of your drywall endeavors. The Drywall Podcast can be listened to every Friday on platforms such as Podbean, Apple Podcasts, and also YouTube. The Drywall Podcast was brought to you exclusively by Fresco Harmony. Fresco Harmony, making walls better since 2004. If you have questions about the Drywall Podcast, Fresco Harmony, or anything, feel free to email me directly at info@frescoharmony.com. Thank you so much for joining the Drywall Podcast today. I sincerely appreciate it. And remember, keep drywalling.